Peace and blessings, family. Sister Audrey. I humbly request you watch the entire share. That is such a benefit. And like, subscribe, share my videos, because there's no other person doing what I do. And it is the critical peak of their planned genocide against us that will be just assured if we don't get all the warnings that I diligently research. So I'm not just presenting you with my opinions, but with the facts. And so this is something I've been wanting to do a share about for a long time. This documentary I saw on Netflix called Lenox Hill. And I'm interested, obviously, in healing and my just love of health through meeting my king was overwhelming. And so that I had to share my bounty with everyone. And that's when Fukushima popped off about, I don't know, a year into my own social media footsteps. I've never stopped ever since. I've just gotten more intensive in my investigation so that I have absolutely no doubt about what I'm sharing with you and how imperative it is that all our family find out about it. So basically, I was just like, well, let me watch this medical documentary here. And I was just astounded, appalled at how it is just a small drop in a poisonous fountain of Western medical society that we are just lemmings. We just go to these folks like they are the patented rescue, and everybody else who's sharing healing, unless they're approved of by these same people, then we're in trouble. Now, I mean, the first two persons on this particular thumbnail are a sister and then another young woman who both of them were pregnant during the filming of this documentary. And I understand that the documentarians were given unprecedented access to Lenox Hill so that they could delve into the intricate day-by-day events that go on. And I admired their full faith desires to do the best by their patients, but it's impossible to actually do them. If that's your goal, then you're educated by the devil himself. And many of us are so beguiled by everything that he does that I knew I had to do this share, because it's like the devil confessing that he means even his own no good. Right? These are real people. And in doing this share, I am not about petty little pock shots at any of these people. I'm horrified myself because I want to do the best also by us. And I'm not the only, health advocate out there. Real health, real healing. However, what I do, what my king does, what Dr. Africa did, they were outside the parameters so that they could see better than those who just blindly worship Western civilization and have no questions whatsoever about what they do and how they portray it. So this might be a slightly long share, and I'm ruining even this teeny tiny channel, but I don't give a damn, because I care about you more than I care about views and popularity. There's got to be a place you can go where it's just not going to go over the same old. What's the new one now? Megan Thee Stallion. She won, and she and a lawyer were twerking in the office. That is not a cure for cancer, right? You gotta have some place to go where you know you're gonna be told the truth so that this hell is over. Right now, this is the young doctor. She's a gynecologist and she was doing her internship during this. I can understand to a certain measure the whole internship like fiasco, but then at the other side of it, I'm like, you know what? That's more evidence that this society doesn't give a damn. There's no reason, if you love what you're doing, to go through this gauntlet of hazing so that you're exhausted. And this woman is pregnant. She's pregnant, right? So that you can learn how to be a better doctor. How are you going to learn how to treat your patients if you, as a doctor, are being treated like crap? Right? But that's part of their paradigm where it's not about caring about people. It's about control. Right? So I don't know anything in detail about her family, but I'm just saying when we have this Negropean mindset, we're not going to ask any deeper questions. We're just going to bow our heads, say our prayers, and open up our eyes again, and they have just stolen everything from us, including our very health. Right? So this sister here, you know, I love seeing all this melanin. But I don't know if they chose her because I know she wasn't the only black doctor in the whole Lenox Hill Hospital. But she's the one who's a feminist, right? But she had a very, in my just warm hope for the best for her and her boyfriend. I don't think he was even her husband. Relationship, my hope for the best for their relationship, it was very caustic in a way that suits this society in portraying the black woman as being in charge of her man. She was so dismissive of her husband, of her boyfriend. It was embarrassing to watch, right? And this is just the introduction to the just ills I saw in this documentary where he was just trying, he was so bowed down to her. Right? He was like, oh, why? She would literally be on the phone talking to him and she would just leave him, forget him in order to do her job. I understand it's a difficult job, but if you hire an adequate amount of staff, then these doctors in their internship don't have to ruin their lives in the name of a medical industry that's really not about healing people. My king let me know that, first off, all these hospitals, they got the morgue right on the premises so that they don't have to spend the extra cost of shipping all their dead patients to a separate morgue off the premises, because it's not about healing. It's about come to us when you're on your last leg so we can freak you out and give you all these medicines that don't really work. They just symptom management, right? And so I just wonder, in terms of them picking this young lady, if they needed to have this dynamic. And so, because it's all about the propaganda, and they not only want to convince us that there's no hope unless you go to these folks, but they also, just want us to believe that there's no hope between the black men and the black women. Which black doctors, which black health practitioners did they ignore so that they could focus on this one sister who wonderfully wanted to do her best? She was trying to notice the racism inherent in the system, in caring for her patients, in focusing on black maternal health. That was beautiful. But you can't cure this system from inside the system, obviously. And it's sad irony that her feminism is a Western-based advocacy that is fueling the disdain that she treats the father of her child with, which in natural human behavior would create all kinds of underlying resentments back and forth. But her ability to recognize racism is intrinsic to her nature as a black woman. Her feminism is not allowing her to see how she is being used to destroy black love. Okay, and so here she is. She's getting prenatal care from another sister doctor who is prominent. And I love all the natural hair that was on display. It's a beautiful thing, but I see beyond just that. Okay, they will often try to get us in with the propaganda by highlighting natural haired sisters. And so that we go, oh, look, I'm being represented. No, we're not. Let's keep going because it's the whole just global medical lie of it that we gotta divorce ourselves from. I'm done. I'm so done with all their lies. So let's keep it going. Right? This is just one of the doctors who was highlighted in this documentary. I'm not going to go over their names because it's one more white savior complex dude after another, and they're all generic as far as I'm concerned. But, he was one who, that's coming up, what he expressed, that I was like, really, dude? You really mean that? Because this is one of their cancer patients. I'm going to try not to cry, but I don't like to see anybody hurt. I am not trying to advocate for harming a single soul, right? If I were a, medical physician in their system, I would want to cure everybody who came in front of me. But I know I'm so grateful that Allah led me in a way where I'm outside of that. I am so wonderfully outside of that. Because we need to separate. We need to leave these people alone. And that includes entrusting them when it comes to illness. Now, my king even said in his Zoom meetings, oh my goodness, the last one he held this Sunday was so empowering. I live with the man on a constant basis. So I try not to, I don't want to just give him compliments. But the free black healing class, restoring black health class, it was so educational, impactful, and inspiring, and not fear-mongering, which is just incredible. The black man, when you are sane, you are so mighty. You are the sun, right? And I just had to say at the end of that, oh my God, this was incredible because I was so inspired. I have not exercised. I don't know if it's, fasting or if it's just the lack of sunlight, the darkest days. I can't stand them. And so I just, didn't get my exercise in. But that class was so impactful that today I was like, I was doing that workout. Feeling fantastic right now, okay? But let's get back to it because this woman here, who I feel for, she ain't alive anymore, but I'm just saying, when I saw this clip, I was like, are you kidding? And this was like in episode 2. Look at this big, my little almost invisible cursor going around. This big giant wad of, I don't know if it's a hamburger or what the hell, but it sure is bread. This woman has cancer. She had a brain tumor that they cut out. That's what they use, right? And of course it came back. They even admit through this that they can't cut out every single cell, right? And so they got her up in here eating food that's only going to inflame her condition. She is on death's door. And there they are. Just, I'll see you next week, okay? Okie dokie. Okie dokie. All right, thank you. She's thanking them because she don't know. She don't know. White people don't want to die either, right? But she did. She did before the next meeting. So my condolences to her family. Right? I don't mean anything untoward. It's like, what? Is that how bad it is that you have to just be loyal to a society that's just killing you and yours? Ooh, the radiation. Oh my God. FDA, no more alerts about any Fukushima food shipped in, and they don't have to tell you it's from Fukushima. It's already in our food stream. It's already, because it would be so daggone cheap. It's already being used as ingredients and all sorts of stuff. Okay? And this, I didn't even know. These CT scans, oh my goodness. These suckers put out 1 sievert of radiation. That's a measure of what is going into your body. That's the difference between sieverts and becquerels. Becquerels is just the overall amount of radiation in a given area, but you may only be impacted by a certain range or frequency or whatever. But once you get that 1 sievert mark, that means, no, that's in your body. Okay, so that they came up with Atoms for Peace propaganda in the 50s and 60s, where they wanted people to stop being freaked out over Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And so they developed different ways to make it seem as if radiation is an okie dokie thing. So I know that with the radium girls, which were women who were dial painters during World War I and World War II, they used a radioactive paint that would glow. And it made the soldiers able to strategize their attacks better because they could see their watches at night. That was, for these warmongers, a huge burden that they couldn't coordinate at night attacks. Right? And so these radium girls, one of the ways that they proved that they had been disastrously impacted by radiation was they noticed that in developing film, they had a couple like pieces and bones and parts of these women just available from the grave. And they noticed that it left glows that shaped the very bones onto this photographic film. And that would be, in my estimation, how they realize that, well, if we give them a little cesium-137 to drink and then put them in these things that are going to measure the glow from that radiation, we'll be able to tell what is going on inside their bodies. But these things are going to give you cancer, especially if you have, because once they find that, oh yeah, you have a cancer, and then they may do whatever they do that only temporarily alleviates your symptoms or reduces the growth rate of the tumor. And we're all so freaked out. We think, well, at least that's a little bit of something. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. You come back in 3 years, that's after they drop you off of the list. Oh, well, they got cancer. They'll say, no, they're recovered, they're cured. And then 3 years later, you come on back and you get another one of those things. Well, then that's the equivalent of 2 sieverts of radiation. That's why they tell you when you get this stuff, no, don't be around any children. Don't touch your family. Just be someplace separate. And so here, this is how I'm like, damn, this your colleague, your friend. This man is also a neurosurgeon, an oncologist. And turned out during this filming, he wound up being diagnosed with cancer, where it was like all around here. I don't know if that's pronounced swelling from the tumor, but it was inoperable pretty much. But they were hoping, they were bereft. This is their colleague, their friend. And they said he's got a 30% 5-year survival, up to 50% 5-year survival with the surgery. If he did nothing, they were like months before he was gone. And so they were trying to advise him get the surgery. And he didn't want to get the surgery, right? But they were like, they loved him. They loved him. And so they gave him the surgery, which is just, it's a mess. You can't cut all this stuff out, right? And here, this is what I wanted to share. In the brain, though, for me to take out every last cell, he was just saying it's impossible. And then when he said this, I was like, are you kidding me? Right? Just so you can see, this is what he said. That's not what this sister, who is his assistant, is saying. How do I get the immune system to do enough to fight cancer? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, these guys are supposed to be brilliant. They're top in the country in what they do. And this dude right here walking ahead, that's the doctor who's got the inoperable cancer or the terminal cancer. And they took him on a neurosurgery retreat. They do this every year. And at this retreat, I was like, are you kidding? We're drinking. He's driving. This is them on the way in their car. Okay, drinking and driving. The driver, I understand, he wasn't drinking. Okay, but there they were in the car, just toasting. And dude is in the back here with the cancer, right? I'm not going to object to that. Cheers and all the rest of that. Yes, that's a good toast. What am I drinking here? Tequila? These are the doctors that we trust. I'm like, if you want to give up heroin, do you go to a heroin addict, an active heroin addict, to find out how to give up heroin? Oh, hell no. Now, as for the people who give up the heroin, get it together, right? And those are people who have hard fought for wisdom. Their guidance is amazing in many different realms, because to get over your addictions, that's powerful, right? But when you're in the midst of addictions, you don't even know they are. So you are actively responsible for the perpetuation of illness that's even killing your friend. I don't want to call him whether he was their best friends or not. This is Madison. This is out of its mind sin, where you have people's lives as your direct responsibility. You are authorized by the society to do whatever. I was just looking for the different thumbnails, and I enjoy so many of these shows. But some of them I just can't watch because they're just so full of crap. Like even this one, The Surgeon's Cut. And it was all right. It was serviceable. But there was a doctor with cancer trying to cure cancer. Oh, my goodness. And this was one of the warnings in one of the beginning of the shows. And I am not, according to Western medicine and their laws, a licensed physician. But I read this, I was like, the following film is designed to entertain and inform, not provide medical advice. You should always consult your doctor when it comes to your personal health or before you start any treatment. Who are you consulting? These dudes? These dudes. Now, everybody's at different stages of wellness, with the overwhelming majority of people overwhelmed by the addictions that are inevitable, given the food is so saturated on purpose with addictive substances. And so you have to work with people where they are. But these dudes never bother to ask their patients, what are you eating? What's your life like? How can we holistically cure you? Let alone, how can they holistically cure not just themselves individually, but their friends? Doctor, heal yourself, but they can't. They can't. Damn. Right there they are, sitting on the beach. This is the man with cancer, drinking it up. drinking it up so you know there's no guidance whatsoever going on about how to eat to live. Thank you, beloved ancestor Imhotep. And there's even a brother in the middle of all of this. And again, I mean him nothing untowards, but this ain't your rescue dude. Right? I just had to get this because it had the roll gold right up in there. Some daggone pretzels filled with salt. What? And he's like, I'll keep it good. I don't want anybody's pity. I can respect that. Right? If I'm about separation from white people, they want to just depict that as, oh, you must be racist. No, I don't need white people, each and every single one of them, to be the epitome of evil. To just know, I love being black. We're wonderful separate people. Right? So separation, thank goodness Allah made us so just anathema to one another, so that these dudes in their nature would be as vile as they are, because otherwise we're so nice we would just stay with them no matter what. But here we see them doing all the wrong. And some of us just cannot snap out of, all right, thank you, doctor. Thank you. And we're not going to survive it. We're not going to survive this. And he says it's like a pity party. I mean, it could be a healing party. Well, not anymore, because he dead. He dead too. Hey? And I think that's why we're such a good team. This is another doctor, not the same one. But they don't know. And they don't have the bravery to snap out of it. Now, there's other doctors out there. There's white doctors who, as soon as they woke up and started saying, wait a minute, something's not right here, they get shunned. They get excommunicated. These dudes would have to have enough just egomania to see that, because you're going to see it in your medical education. Doctors who ask questions and then they get marginalized and they decide, no, I'm going to keep on going. So these are mental midgets to just go along with the program, and that's killing even their friends. God damn. Right? This is at the, hotel that they had the rest of their gathering, their neurosurgery retreat, and he's telling them, I have cancer. I don't want to make a kind of big thing, right? And I'm like, white people don't want to die either. And he's like, I do not particularly want to die. Well, he had not a brand new grandchild, but his granddaughter, or I think his daughter actually, was just getting married. He wanted to be able to live long enough to see her wedding, to be in attendance at her wedding. And so he did decide to have the surgery. And this is post-operative. His face has just been, I guess they did the best reconstructively, but his face looks just completely imbalanced. It was disturbing to see it. And he was still practicing his craft doing that. Kudos to him, because sometimes something disfiguring can happen, and it's beyond just following this Western civilization's idea of, you could drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want, and we're always there with the surgeon's scalpel or the toxic allopathic medicines, and we won't tell you a damn thing about it to catch you after that, right? Sometimes stuff happens, right? If you get harmed physically, go to these dudes. They know all about cutting stuff up, right? But this was sad. It was sad, right? Where they're doing their best not to be in tears over what they know was going to happen and did happen. This is not a movie. This was his life, and it's gone. It's gone. I mean, wow. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost talking from another era in the future. I'm not saying that I think that. No, I don't. But I'm like, how many ways can you prove what's going on? Right? I know a lot of us, we have been trained by the brainwashing of the public fool system. So we don't even trust our own ability to see the facts and make life-saving choices for ourselves and our family and our friends. So we are not in that crash test dummy car with the devil himself. And we think that's a better choice. Support your warriors. And whew, it's a free class. And I'm serious. It's a class. My king was just teaching like nobody's business. Join the Zoom session this Sunday again, right? And you go to his website, 25,000yearscycle.net, and you RSVP, and then you'll get the link. And it's so liberating. Our family, we're free to be ourselves there. What a beautiful thing. And wow, I mean, you got to be there. It was just profound. And support my man-made radiation warning, because there are things that I have shared that you just wouldn't have heard about it from anybody else. That's the fact. I don't get it. I mean, I'm like, woo, I should sell every single day, like at least 50 books. That doesn't happen. I'm not going to stop because obviously I love you like that. But do you love the truth like that? Because if you do, you want these books. Straight Black family pride is our map to forever. I love you. Peace and blessings.